Hi, I'm Ernie Medina with TRB, and today I'd like to talk with you a little bit about how do we transition from one position to another while keeping the firearm steady and potentially engaged on our target. Certainly there's many positions from the standing, kneeling, urban prones, on your back and everything that people transition to, and unfortunately you may have to transition in between these positions in a real life gunfight, so to speak. But how do we do it while not compromising our ability to shoot and keeping ourselves able to get good sight picture, sight alignment, keeping that gun steady and a solid posture? So as many of you know, we subscribe to a particular type of thought process when it comes to using our bodies. Our hips drive all our movement and is essentially the core of everything that we do. And that could be seen through an array of sports, from baseball, football, whatever, but it is certainly true in the shooting world. So when we're shooting from the standing, of course, we want to have make sure that our posture is good. That being said, we want to have our back straight, shoulders are actually down, and you want your back muscles engaged. That's going to set the tone for being able to transition from, say, standing to kneeling or what have you. So from the standing, I'll just demonstrate that briefly. From the standing, when I draw, I have my traps relaxed, my lats are engaged, I have the firearm steady, and I can break a shot, no problem. In fact, my muzzle flip gets reduced because the force or the energy from the firearm is minimized because of that stability. Now, when transitioning, say, from standing, because I have my core engaged, because I have all the things that I previously mentioned, I can simply drop my hips and go straight into a kneeling without compromising my position. All I do is essentially do a back lunge, drop those hips, and now I'm in a proper kneeling position. If you notice, from my waist up really doesn't change. And that's the key to this. So I can take a shot from the kneeling as well. Okay? Now, if I were, say, seated, and that is relevant to, say, CCW, the same would be true. So if I needed to go from seated to standing, having that same posture would be equally important. So this could be seated in your car and having to pop out, or perhaps seated at a restaurant or something like that. Okay. First thing I want to do is I want to have my feet planted to get good stability. Okay. And even though this stool right now isn't stable, because my hips are engaged, my core is engaged, and everything about my upper body is tight, okay, I can engage no problem here, and with my feet planted, I can just come up and stand no problem. I don't lose anything about my sight picture, sight alignment. Further, I can also sit back down with the same concept. If I needed to go from seated to kneeling, that would be also just as easy, again, keeping that proper posture, legs planted, and all I need to do is drop that one knee. And now I'm in the kneeling position. I can come back into the seated position, no problem. And that's all driven by having that posture from before. And then last thing I want to address is how do we go from, say, ultimately the standing all the way down to either urban prone or on our back. Now, if any of you have done rifle training, you'll know that we want to keep a primary or master grip on your rifle, and you plant or post with your support hand and so on and so forth. But now, this is where really engaging those core muscles and that posture will make you money, so to speak, transitioning from one position to another. Now, I wouldn't go straight from, say, standing, drop to urban prone. I mean, I could, but that's not necessarily desired. I would actually work my way there. So I would start from the standing, okay? I would drop to the kneeling. Now, if I'm gonna go urban prone, say I'm gonna go urban prone to my right, I would plant, come back to retention if necessary or able, and then I would actually kick out this leg, okay? So I would plant here, keeping that proper posture, press out. Now I'm in a position of retention, or I can still keep my sights on target, and then from there, drop into a proper urban prone, okay? Coming out of it, I still keep my hand planted, and I can also come into a seated position here, or a back position here. All because I'm keeping everything in here tight and engaged. Now coming up out of this, I come up and I can plant from here, come up, and then up. So transitioning from the various positions can be done easier if I'm engaging the right muscles and, so to speak, doing that, because the posture is what drives everything, and of course the hips drive everything. So that's one way to think about how you transition from position to position without losing your ability to shoot.
Not sure which training program is right for you? Well, give us a call or email us, and we will actually schedule a consultation with you so we can really figure out which training program is best for you and make sure you get the right training that you need.